So let's start off, please. Beverly, if you would, start us off. Tell us about some of the key issues or insights that are happening and what you're planning for the year to come. Would you? Baloney.
So the first thing on my mind is about members. And I don't care who you are, where you live, right now you have someone in your family, you have a member, you have an employee who is experiencing huge amounts of stress, uncertainty, anxiety. These people are our members. They are experiencing things unlike anything that they've experienced in their lives. And I just want to put a little bit of data on that. We create an image of who we think these members are. First, 50% of Americans, these are members, aren't able to address a $400 unexpected expense without some sort of financial assistance. Second, 73 million Americans are on. And if you think it's a certain kind of person, let me tell you who it is. 41% of them are white, 22% of them are black, 25% Hispanic, 12% other ethnicities. 30 million white people in America are on Medicaid. 43 million white, black and Hispanic and other races are on Medicaid. If you think there aren't going to be issues, then you're kidding yourselves. And by the way, these are our members. So right now today, what we should be working on are products and solutions and experiences and activities that will address the needs that our members are going to face and are already facing. And those members will come all of us. That's issue number one. Issue number two, because I know I only have 5 minutes. Issue number two. Issue number two is about small credit unions. You mentioned this. We're a big credit union, BECU. We know that small credit unions matter hugely and critically in this economy and environment today. We know that for a fact. I think we, the movement, have not done enough, are not doing enough to figure out a systemic, viable, sustainable approach for small credit unions. This is a scale game. We are kidding ourselves. This is the conversation no one wants to talk about. When I first got into the movement and I would wonder out loud, what's going to happen to small credit unions? People like Bill would go, shh, don't say that. No. But the truth is, there has to be a solution. Small credit unions serve rural communities that have been banking deserts forever. We have to do something to sustain small credit unions. I'm excited about BECU and the work we do. Express Credit Union is a partner of ours. They're a small credit union in Seattle. Thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
It's the camera that couldn't hear you. We can all hear you. It's
Okay. Small credit union in Seattle. We support their needs. Helen Gibson, I think, is somewhere in the room. I didn't see her. But we support, hi Helen, we support the needs of this credit union by providing our talent, providing dollars, we provide space, and we share members. They serve the underbanked. We send underbanked to Express. When their members need more, they send them to us. That's the kind of real support that we need. So that's my second thing I'm cussing about. The third thing is about DEI, and I did not get the memo. I think we need to continue to talk about DEI. You know, listen, movement, thank you. Here's the deal. If you think I'm in this seat because someone, felt, kind, I will tell you 30 plus years of hard work, sweat, tears. and the sponsorship of wonderful people who got me to this seat. This movement needs to look like and reflect the communities that we serve and the members who want us to work with them, who trust us for their financial needs. And we keep pretending that we're okay. We are not okay. We have to keep working at this. And diversity is about inclusion. It's about belonging. It's about everybody feeling like they can exist underneath the tent. That's for our employees. That's for our members. That's for our community partners. That makes us a better democracy. So I'm happy to keep cussing about DEI. I'm done.
Thank you. Nice, great. Bill, what are some things that are causing your frustration or that you're leaning into at Schools First?
Well, first of all, thank you, Brandi. Second of all, wow, that was awesome. I should just say ditto. I'm really honored to be part of this powerhouse panel. I'm not sure how I'm qualified, but wow, thank you. I should introduce. I'm going to start where you finished, and I should introduce Jessica. Hi, Jessica. She's our Senior Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Schools First. Thank you for being here. This shit is real. And I don't cuss in public.
I was going to say, whoa, Bill, I'm blushing.
I don't, but I just did, I guess. But, I mean, it's real, and it's happening quickly. Brandi, you're right. Credit unions, we have to stay true to what our values are. Your values might be different than my values, but as credit unions, it's all about people helping people. Our credit union is headquartered in Southern California. We serve almost 1.5 million, mostly school employees and their families. It's the most diverse state in the country. We have a very diverse membership, a very diverse team, as you would expect when you're hiring team members in California. Shruti used to live in Southern California. This is who we are. And we can't serve our members if we don't understand their lived experience. How are we supposed to help them if we don't know them? And we've got a lot of them. Small credit unions, absolutely. We do a similar thing with, it's called Comunidad Latina Federal Credit Union in Santa Ana. We support them. Maybe every credit union should support another credit union. That sounds like a crazy idea. Or more than one. Our league does a great job also of helping small credit unions. And I know it's a priority for people, but so,
we'll get to that.
No
We'll
more
get to
mergers.
that.
I hear you. I'm not opposed to mergers if they're done for the right reasons, and sometimes it makes sense, and we've done a few. But look, I'm glad we're all here in Washington because we have serious issues to discuss, and what I said earlier about it being real, and I'm not going to cuss again. Jessica will turn me in. But we're under attack. There are real threats to our business model. I think taxation, not for our credit union, or probably for the credit unions that are sitting up here, but for some would be the last straw, right? Now not only do we not have the powers of banks, but we're taxed like banks, and so maybe we should just be a bank. I'll never participate in that, but you could see it happening. We can't let that happen. And there are people who are coming after us, and we have to be here now to protect ourselves, and more importantly, to protect our members. A tax on credit unions is a tax on 140 million credit union members, and there are a lot of people in Washington that don't want to hear from those 140 million members. So I'm glad you're here. I'm preaching to the choir. Get busy this week because it's real, and we need to protect ourselves. And that's not the only issue, but that's the number one issue for me.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Well, no more mergers is how we started the conversation. So I am Shruti Miyashiro, CEO of Digital Federal Credit Union, which is actually in the process of the largest merger in credit union history right now. So this is great. This is the kind of conversation we should be having at the underground. This is, Brandi, as you said, one of the things that's so important in America is the ability to listen to different points of views, understand what is shaping them, and still come out ahead with the same purpose. Whether it's a merger, whether it's not having a merger, the idea of credit unions having a shared purpose is so deeply true and needed now more than ever. Before I came to DCU, I actually became a low-income designated credit union that was also a CDFI. Completely different purpose, completely different way of actually getting to where we needed to get as an industry. As we talk about our members, whether it's at a low-income designated credit union, CDFI, whether it's at $12 billion DCU, there is no difference in the people who we are serving and the underserved communities. There is no difference, Bev, as you shared, in the humanity of the individuals who not just bank with us, so to speak, have accounts with us, but also the employees who work with us, who are also working towards living wages, being able to lift themselves through growth and development opportunities. The members are not coming in for transactions. They are coming in for the very first car that they will ever own, even though 75% of them are driving later than usual. They are coming in for that, their very first home that they bring their baby home into. Members are coming in for a moment in their lives that matters deeply, that we are responsible for providing them with. And whether we believe in staying with our roots and serving in a different way based on size, or whether we believe size is the tool that allows us to deliver on the scale that may be needed because of our fields of membership, either way, what we're trying to accomplish for people is so deeply important. And as an undergraduate student in philosophy, so at this point, my parents are just happy I'm employed, because you don't know what your options are as an undergrad philosophy major. One of the things I learned how to do was to look at things from multiple perspectives, knitting together different ideas, wondering what makes the world work and what makes humans work, and looking at things from lots of perspectives. As a philosophy major, our industry, I recognize, is in an existential crisis today. There are three things that make me cuss, and they are being responsible for the largest merger in the history of credit unions, because that is no small task. And the reason it's not a small task is not the systems integration. That by itself is big. It is the impact this has on the people who will work with us. It is an impact on the close to 2 million members we will have. 2 million lives plus that are going to rely on us to provide different new solutions to help them feel financially secure and grow. It doesn't stop with just being secure. It's the opportunity to lift our lot in life collectively. And then the communities. Communities need people who care about them based on their individual needs, not based on just making a profit. We are here to take care of people, but we've got the largest merger in credit union history that has to go right and is the tool to help people. Thousands of employees, millions of members, and tens of millions of members in communities across our nation. We also have an existential crisis because we have a lot of things going on in DC. And we are talking about consolidating agencies. Right now, there is a lot of talk already, OCC, FDIC. NCUA is maybe not far along. CFPB has canceled quarterly meetings with us, but we're still reporting as a credit union because we don't know when it'll come back up. We don't know who our regulator may or may not be. Consolidation of the agencies has an enormous impact on how we get our work done. It matters for who we are and our identity and our ability to live our purpose. And then finally, we look at taxation. American Banker just about a week ago said this is the most risky time for credit unions. In my career, which goes back to last century, this is the riskiest time. Think of the existential crisis that we are facing with consolidation on one hand, but on the other hand, a need to make sure that purpose remains at the core of who we are and why we choose to work in credit unions. Combined with the consolidation of agencies that has an impact on how we serve our members. And then finally, the idea of taxation and our ability and our tools that are the what of how we serve our members. These things are incredibly impactful, and this is the trifecta and the perfect storm and why we're here in DC. Because credit unions, us, we chose this industry. We stay here every day and don't move to other jobs where they call us because we care about purpose and impact. And most importantly, we care about people. We're facing an existential crisis of our ability to do the exact work that drew us into this movement. And so why we're here today, the conversations we keep having about how we're going to deliver that and how we show up with elected leaders in our communities, because we are all leaders in our credit unions, how we show up with the people who work on our teams. Those things matter for our ability to continue to impact millions of humans across this nation.
Thank you.
My hope is that you leave Washington, D.C. restless. I'm terribly concerned about the future of our movement, not because of all that you just heard, because people don't see us as relevant. And that's our responsibility, and we've got to lift that up. And these times are really interesting because they are about community. And when you talk about why we were chartered and what community means, I have been thinking a lot about my grandmother. She helped to start a credit union for teachers many years ago. And she had a picture that she hung above her computer. It was a very old computer. She loved it. And it was a picture of a quilt. And she used to talk about women coming together and bringing one little piece of fabric, and they would sit around a circle and bridge that together. And we talk a lot as credit unions about collaboration. You've heard some good examples this morning of collaboration in action, but we talk a lot more about it than we do it. And that we do it with meaning rather than simply calling and saying, hey, would you send me a policy? And that restlessness has to move us toward truly collaborating, because there isn't an industry out there that has that gift the way that we do, and it should be a competitive advantage. That restlessness also has to push us toward storytelling. Again, if we want to be relevant, if we want human beings to join our credit unions and not just join with $25 or $5, use the credit union fully. They need to see themselves in our organization, starting with belonging, and then understand that we have products and services that are going to change their lives for the better. Whatever your political beliefs, all of us heard very, very clearly over the last several months that most Americans are feeling huge economic strain and stress. Credit unions should be the answer to that. We can't be the answer to that if people don't know that we exist and they don't know why we matter to their everyday lives. One of the ways that I think we overcome that relevancy challenge is by using listening as a superpower. It is something we take very, very seriously at Community Financial. And that listening helps us to understand those economic pains. One really good example is we have a partnership with a domestic and sexual violence organization helping survivors. Through that listening, we've been able to help people that wish to leave have the choice to do so. And when we think about economic pain, it is serving those communities that need us most by listening so closely and carrying that story forward. We need to be very thoughtful, I believe, this week to know that it's not anybody else's job to tell our story. And when we say it's America's credit union's job, yes. And it's every single one of our jobs. And if we don't start doing that well, we won't be here. And I do think it's an existential threat. And I think our ability to come together and quilt is one of the ways that we ensure that we thrive.
Thank you so much. Let's give this panel a round of applause.